enough rotation that to see a potential tornado. And that would be right in this area here, to the southwest of Pine Tops and east of Wilbanks. You see a little bit of a circulation there where you see those colors inside the red. That may be just a little bit of a circulation that there may be a tornado on the ground. Not indicated by the public, just indicated by radar, that tornado warning in effect until 7 o'clock for those areas of eastern Wilson and also Edgecombe County. Eastern Wilson and Edgecombe County until 7 o'clock. This is Highway 1114 and this is Highway 124, and back to the south and west, this is Highway 1109. So again, these are tornado warning for this area. If you're in Pine Tops especially, you want to take cover and go to a safe place just to be on the safe side. Not indicated by the public or been seen by anyone, but it has been indicated by radar. So there's the tornado warning. Notice there's nothing else out there on radar right now except for some showers up into sections of Mecklenburg County, Virginia. But this one ramped up. We showed it to you on the news at 6, and it did have some gusty winds, but certainly didn't expect it to become severe. The atmosphere stabilizing, at least it appeared it was, but still enough instability, enough going on ahead of that cold front that sparked all that severe weather you were just seeing on World News tonight, that there is some circulation in this. So that tornado warning, eastern Wilson County and western Edgecombe County, in effect until 7 o'clock this evening. If you're in Macclesfield, remember, take cover now, and also in Pine Tops, anywhere into Edgecombe County, go to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you're in a mobile home or a vehicle outdoors, move to the closest substantial shelter. That's in case you happen to be out next time there's a tornado warning. No shelter is available. Lie down in a low-lying area. But if you're watching us, obviously you're probably in your house. So just go to the interior room. That's right along Highway 258 there. You see that thunderstorm. It's a pretty small one, and as we pull back the view, notice it is extremely quiet across the region now. Cooler, drier air is moving in. There are some showers up into Mecklenburg County, Virginia, but those are pressing on towards the east, and they're not severe. But this thunderstorm potentially producing a tornado over eastern Wilson and Edgecombe County. So that tornado warning in effect until 7 o'clock for the next 15 or 20 minutes. It's moving very rapidly. Earlier, the storm was moving at 50 to 60 miles per hour, but slowing down, at least the National Weather Service estimating a movement east at 30 miles per hour. So the threat of widespread severe weather is over, but this one thunderstorm, which formed just a little bit ago, has ramped up enough to at least have the potential to be producing a tornado. So the National Weather Service in Raleigh has issued that tornado warning in effect for eastern Edgecombe and western sections of Wilson County until 7 o'clock. There's a little bit of a circulation there just to the south and southwest of Pine Tops. If you're anywhere right on the eastern Wilson Edgecombe County line, you want to go ahead and take cover just be on the safe side. This is the cold front, even though it has really sent most of the severe weather off to the east near the coast. This cold front is responsible for all of the devastation across much of the country, the eastern half of the country anyway, over the last several days. So don't want to take it lightly, as this is still a potentially serious situation for an isolated area. There's Highway 43 and Highway 1004 here across areas of western Edgecombe County, and Highway 124 here. And it's Highway 258. So that's part of western Edgecombe County, especially where there could be a tornado on the ground. This doesn't look like a real strong signature, so if there is a tornado, probably it's a fairly weak one, but a weak tornado can still do quite a bit of damage, and if you're not in the safe place, could cause some harm too. So we want to make sure you're safe. It looks like in eastern Wilson County, that threat is already diminished pretty quickly. You can see the storm. It is moving quickly to the east. So eastern Wilson County, right on the line, perhaps a little bit of a threat. It's mainly into Edgecombe County now and pressing on to the east. Tarboro probably okay, but you are in that tornado warning. The storm is moving off to the northeast, so you want to take cover too in that area of Edgecombe County. Areas that anywhere else really in the region, the threat of severe weather is really, really low. Just one thunderstorm just flared up and was able to produce at least some rotation. So the National Weather Service issuing that tornado warning for eastern Wilson and Edgecombe County until 7. But notice how quiet it is everywhere else. That's because we've got a cold front that's come through the region, and it's moving through the triangle now. You probably, if you're out in the triangle, noticing a nice drop in the humidity across the region. The cold front's still a little bit out to the west, but really it's making its way pretty quickly to the east across the region. If we put on what we call the dew points here, that's a temperature of the measure of the moisture in the atmosphere. You can see that dew point temperatures are falling into the 50s and 40s back out to the west, while they're still in the 60s in this area. That's where the still enough moisture in the atmosphere to fuel a few thunderstorms and also the threat of some severe weather. So that one thunderstorm there able to produce a tornado into Edgecombe County. So that tornado warning, eastern Wilson County pretty much in the clear, but Edgecombe County especially until 7 o'clock the next 15 minutes with this one thunderstorm here. So we'll stick with you. I want to keep you safe. This terrible outbreak of severe weather across much of the country is certainly keeps us on alert here. If we could go over to weather too, you can actually see the line of the thunderstorms that came through here earlier that prompted some tornado warnings for areas across the region for Cumberland County, Sampson County. If we could go to weather 2, we'll be able to show you that line making its way off to the east. And there are still a couple of tornado warnings in effect for coastal regions of especially northeastern parts of North Carolina near Elizabeth City, where you see those purples. Those are tornado warnings. And that one lone cell there sitting by itself over the coastal plain just east of Wilson around Tarboro. Until the front passes, there could be a shower or a thunderstorm that produces at least some gusty winds. But the National Weather Service canceled the tornado watch 3 hours early, pretty confident that there would be no more severe weather. But this one thunderstorm has proved them and us wrong too, that there is at least a small potential for a tornado there in western sections of Edgecombe County. Back over to weather 3, and you can see again that area of thunderstorm activity. This cell doesn't look nearly as impressive as some of the ones earlier today did, but enough of a little bit of a circulation that the National Weather Service would issue that tornado warning. Pine Tops up towards Tarboro, you want to go ahead, take cover just to be on the safe side in case there is a tornado. When we show you this velocity earlier in the day, we had greens and reds that were really close to each other, and not seeing that now. But if there is a circulation, or if there is a rotation, that is, it is just about at Pine Tops or perhaps a little bit south of there. We'll put on some of the streets that'll identify that. You want to just make sure and stay safe. Highway 124 and also Highway 42. That's a pretty well-known highway over in down east, and also Highway 258. That area south and west of Pine Tops. If you're in Pine Tops, especially Macclesfield too, although the storm is making its way pretty quickly off to the north and northeast, you want to be on the safe side. We'll close in and see if we can find some other streets. This picture could be a few minutes old, so it's really right around Pine Tops potentially that you could be in some danger anyway, and it's just always a good idea just to take cover, go to the lowest floor, interior room. You know the drill. We've done it enough around here lately, and folks in the deep south and areas even in Virginia had a terrible day yesterday. But these are some of the roads here which may be impacted by what could be a tornado, at least a weak one, across that area of Edgecombe County. And again, it's making its way towards the northeast, about 30 miles per hour. This should be gone, and hopefully the last of it for the event as things begin to wind down and the drier air makes its way towards the east. Here again are some of the other roads as well across parts of, this is Bynum Farm Road again. We just showed you that, and also Indigo Lane there. And the storm again across portions of Edgecombe County. There is the tornado warning in effect for Edgecombe County, especially until 7 o'clock. We'll put on the other view there. And if nothing else, there's some heavy rain, some cloud to ground lightning as this tracks off towards the northeast at about 30 miles per hour, maybe a little bit faster than that. So there could be some damaging winds as well. That's it though over the region. Nothing else, no tornado watches in effect. And if you're in Wilson, I think you can go ahead, if you want, even on the screen there, take Wilson County out because the threat there has diminished a great deal. And just Edgecombe County, the storm is out of Wilson County, and the National Weather Service more than likely will be letting Wilson out of that pretty soon. I'm surprised they haven't already, since the storm is making its way towards the northeast pretty quickly and probably going to be weakening pretty quickly too. There's not a lot of juice left in the atmosphere to fuel thunderstorms of the strength to produce tornadoes. But it's out there, at least that warning. And you see just north of Highway 258, that's where there may be just a little bit of circulation right around Pine Tops, making its way northeastward. Not nearly the strength of the signature that we had earlier across the region, but enough to warrant that tornado warning for Edgecombe County. But notice if you're anywhere else in the viewing area, you really don't need to worry about much. Don't see any other thunderstorms forming. The cold front is making its way eastward across central North Carolina now. So any showers or storms that form are going to do so very quickly before before things begin to settle down and the cooler, drier air, which is filtering in now, begins to overtake the entire region and ends the threat of severe weather for good for everybody in the eastern U.S., at least until the next system comes our way, which won't be until early next week with at least a chance for some showers and storms. But it has been a rough several days, actually a rough week for many areas west of us, and we started getting some severe weather during the day yesterday. A couple of strong storms on Tuesday, but especially yesterday into today. You see that warning being whittled down a little bit. Mentioned that Wilson really out of danger, so Wilson County out of the warning now. It does remain in effect for the next 9 or 10 minutes for Edgecombe County. National Weather Service Doppler radar continued to indicate a tornado near Macclesfield or 9 miles north of Farm Mill, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. If not a tornado, quarter-sized hail and perhaps damaging winds in excess of 58 miles per hour are possible with this as it tracks off towards the northeast. So Pine Tops, not necessarily right at Tarboro, but close enough. Want to go ahead, take cover just to be on the safe side until the storm makes its way out of the region, out of Edgecombe County. There it is. What's the one storm that's left over, and it was strong enough to at least prompt a tornado warning. No confirmation of a tornado on the ground, just the radar indicated tornado. But if you do see severe weather, remember to stay safe, but you can always report it to the National Weather Service by calling a toll-free number 1-877-633-6772 or call law enforcement and ask them to relay it to the National Weather Service in Raleigh. Something that they rely on folks to give them some information when there is severe weather. Otherwise, around the region, all quiet. There are some showers up into sections of southern Virginia, not severe. Mecklenburg County, just west of South Hill, they're making their way off to the northeast as well. So again, the tornado warning for Wilson County has been canceled, but for eastern Edgecombe County remains in effect until 7 o'clock. Areas again in the path of the storm include near Tarboro, Canida, and also back to Pine Tops, probably in the clear now as the storm has passed that area off to the northeast. But the storm should be making its way out of Edgecombe County, perhaps into southeastern sections of Halifax County, but more likely out of our viewing area as it tracks to the northeast and hopefully continues to weaken. That tornado warning in effect for the next 9 or 10 minutes. Been quite a couple of days across the country with just an incredible number of fatalities from the tornadoes to our west and south. We were very fortunate today in that the storm system weakened over us. The dynamics in the atmosphere, the ingredients for an outbreak of severe weather were not as strong over us as they were over, say, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. There were some ingredients, and we did have a couple of reports of some funnel clouds and some tornado warnings today and some severe thunderstorm warnings, but nothing like April 16th and certainly nothing like what they endured over the deep south into Alabama and Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi. Just incredible damage, incredible suffering there going on. Outbreaks in U.S. history across that area. There's that thunderstorm that prompted the tornado warning just south of Tarboro right now. Not showing a real good signature for any circulation across that area of Edgecombe County, but certainly the tornado warning still in effect. Don't really see a whole lot there now at all when we look at what we call the velocity, where we look for those colors, the greens and the reds, where the air is moving away from and towards the radar site to show up. And it's not there, so it doesn't mean that there is not a tornado, but if there is, it's probably a really weak one. Got no reports of any damage so far, no reports of a tornado on the ground, but these areas of Edgecombe County, you want to go ahead and go to a safe place just to be on the safe side. As mentioned, this has been just an incredible event of tornadoes across areas to the west of us, and the cold front that's sparking some of this is actually just pushing through the region right now. There's some heavy rain that's making its way across Edgecombe County right now. It's not going to cause any flooding problems, but certainly some brief heavy rain, which may make, there is a little bit of a curvature there, not a real classic hook echo. We've been hearing us talk about that of late, but right in through here is where there potentially may be a tornado. A lot of times the wind's so strong in a tornado it'll throw the rain back out on the left side of the storm, and then the storm makes its way to the northeast if there is a tornado there. Haven't gotten a report of it, but there is a little bit of an indenture there in the thunderstorm that may sort of look like a hook echo. If there is any circulation rotation, it would be just to the south of Princeville now. But anywhere in that hatched area where you see that polygon, that's where there is the tornado warning is in effect, so you want to just go ahead and be in a safe place until the storm passes overhead. It's moving off at 35 miles per hour, so it shouldn't last in any one spot for a very long period of time as it moves off to the northeast. Pine Top's in the clear now, but again, Canida, also just south of Tarboro, some of these areas you want to be in a safe place as this storm makes its way. Princeville, potentially, not all of these areas will be impacted, and even if there is a tornado. But certainly the potential is there for some of these spots to be impacted, and we want you to go ahead and just be on a safe side. Here are some of those roads: Highway 42, and also off to the north and west highway. This is actually Highway 64. It goes out of Princeville, and the storm probably hugging the Edgecombe County line there and pushing off towards the north and northeast. Tornado watch is canceled. It was canceled around 4:30, I think, and the threat of severe weather diminished rapidly, but this one storm was able to fire up over Johnston County, move into Wilson County, and have enough of a punch to it to at least trigger some rotation that the National Weather Service in Raleigh issued a tornado warning for those areas until 7 o'clock. So we'll stick with the next couple of minutes, and the threat hopefully will have passed. The storm weakened enough that the Weather Service will let that tornado warning go. But until 7 o'clock, next 5 minutes or so, that tornado warning in effect for Edgecombe County, especially areas east of Pine Tops. That's where there could be a tornado on the ground. If nothing else, some potentially gusty winds, brief heavy rain. Doesn't look like a whole lot of cloud to ground lightning though with this as it moves off towards the northeast. So it does appear that that won't be a major factor with this storm, but there is at least some, don't see a lot of it there, but there may be some rotation. So far, no reports of any funnel cloud sightings, anything of that order across the region of Edgecombe County. So that's some good news. There's Highway 42 and Highway 44 off to the north, and this region here, Highway 33. So those are the areas of Edgecombe County, especially the sort of eastern part south of Princeville, where there could be a potential tornado on the ground. Again, we don't have any reports of it. There's the view, and there's the wide view. You see it's pretty quiet elsewhere. Not much going on at all, but I want to stay safe with this epic storm system, which has just really rocked parts of the deep south, even into Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky, but especially Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia. Just incredible amounts of damage we haven't seen the likes of since 1974, when there was that super outbreak, tornadoes across the central and parts of the eastern U.S., not so much in North Carolina with that outbreak in 1974, but from the Gulf Coast up through Kentucky into the Great Lakes. 148 tornadoes back then in 1974. Right now we're just dealing with potentially one tornado that's over Edgecombe County. The western part of that tornado warning probably don't need to worry about anymore, that part near Highway 258 and Pine Tops, but areas northeast of there, if you're in eastern Edgecombe County, that's the spot where the possible tornado on the ground. Haven't had any reports of that. Some brief heavy rain. The storm moving along northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Just about 10 minutes ago, the National Weather Service was still indicating a radar on their tornado, on their radar, I should say, a tornado on their Doppler radar. This tornado was located near Macclesfield, or 9 miles north of Farmville, moving northeast at 35. Besides the potential for a tornado, quarter-sized hail and damaging winds in excess of 58 miles per hour are possible with this storm as it makes its way to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. But it is a lone storm. It's the only one out there. A couple of showers up into southern Virginia. That's about it. And this storm will be pushing into areas outside of our viewing area in the next little bit. It'll be interesting to see if the National Weather Service issues any bit of a warning there for the other part of Edgecombe County. Hopefully not. It does look like it has weakened just a little bit as it pushes off to the northeast, but no signs of any tornado with that. And if you're in Wilson County, you were under a tornado warning for a while, but that was lifted. And even into the western parts of that watch area, that warning area, I should say, over Edgecombe County, right in this area here, you don't need to worry anymore either. It's generally right in here, southeastern sections of Edgecombe County, that there is a tornado warning in effect still for the next few minutes, till 7 o'clock, next couple of minutes. We'll get word from the National Weather Service whether they're going to extend that or let it go if the storm is weakened enough that they don't see any rotation either. Again, we're not seeing a whole lot. There is still a little bit there, though, to the south of Tarboro, so they may have to extend that warning to the northeast for a while longer until the storm either weakens further or dissipates and moves out of the viewing area, which it will do in the next 30 minutes or so, but still over eastern sections of Edgecombe County. No reports of any tornado on the ground, but that tornado warning still in effect for this thunderstorm, which is all by itself out there, but it was able to ramp up enough, strengthen enough to prompt that tornado warning. So we'll stick with it for the next couple of minutes and just see if the Weather Service lets that go, that tornado warning, or issues another one for parts of Edgecombe County. Otherwise, across the region, no need to worry about anything flaring up for the next rest of the evening and overnight. Cooler, drier air is pushing into the region. The only threat of any more storms even having a chance of developing in the next little bit will be from eastern Mecklenburg County into this area and on towards the coast out ahead of that front. Everybody else looks like they just let the warning go. That's some good news. The tornado warning for Edgecombe County is canceled, so the storm which prompted the warning is weakened. The warning no longer in effect. Great news. We can let you go and again let you know that tornado warning canceled for eastern Edgecombe County, and we'll get you to Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune this evening. I hope you have a great evening. Enjoy the great weather coming up for the weekend.
This has been an ABC 11 Eyewitness News AccuWeather Alert. We now return to our regularly scheduled program.